Hello, I'm Tony from Ding and welcome to another episode of Thinking Tools. In this episode, we're looking at a tool called cognitive load theory and how it can help us design more effective learning experiences. There are three key concepts in this theory: intrinsic load, extrinsic load, and effort. Learning something new requires effort, and learners only have a limited amount of it. When we're designing a learning experience, we want learners to use their effort to meet the intended learning outcomes. This is called the intrinsic load, and it's a good thing. But if they get distracted or focus on the wrong things, this increases the extrinsic load and causes them to waste their efforts on activities that aren't related to the intended learning outcomes. This is a bad thing. So the big idea in cognitive load theory is to maximize intrinsic load and minimize extrinsic load. Here's an example. Imagine you've just bought a new television. What you want is to be able to watch programs on it. We can call this your learning outcome. But before you can watch television, you have to work out how to switch the TV on, navigate the menu system, connect it to the internet, tune the channels, adjust the colour, and turn up the volume. At the same time, your neighbour is playing some really loud music and your partner is telling you what you need to buy from the grocery store. In this example, the barriers related to television are examples of intrinsic load. They're all related to the intended learning outcome of watching the TV. But the neighbour playing the loud music and the partner talking about grocery shopping are examples of extrinsic load. They're distractions unrelated to the learning goal and they'll hamper your ability to achieve it. So what does this mean for learning design? Well, the dynamics of effort and cognitive load are integral to effective learning design. Research in cognitive science shows that if we have to use effort to learn something, we're much more likely to remember it. If it's too easy, the information doesn't stick in our long-term memory. If it's too hard, we won't achieve the intended learning outcomes. But we only have a limited amount of effort, which means we won't keep trying to learn something indefinitely. And if the extrinsic load is greater than the intrinsic load, it will cause us to give up. So let's look at three practical ways we can use cognitive load theory to design learning. The first is that we should always activate learners' prior knowledge. Before we share new information with learners, we should help them try and recall anything that they might already know about the topic, as this will make it easier for them to connect new information with their existing knowledge. We can use technology to do this by providing short quizzes, images, and questions using tools such as Kahoot or Mentimeter. These tools are great because they enable learners to respond anonymously, which reduces their fear of responding. The second way is to use worked examples. If we can provide a step-by-step demonstration of how to solve a task or a problem, it shows learners what good looks like. This also helps them build their own mental models of the topic. As learners grow in confidence, we can gradually remove elements of the worked example, and this develops their ability to perform the task independently. Technology can help here too in the form of short video demonstrations, for example. Giving learners these worked examples before they come to a live session will help them arrive more informed, and we can then activate their prior knowledge at the start of a session using something like a quiz. And the third way we can use cognitive load theory is by presenting information both visually and verbally, as long as the information is related. Research indicates that our brain has 2 points of entry: seeing and hearing. So if this auditory and visual information are closely related, it significantly reduces the load on our working memory and it reduces resistance to learning. But we also need to be aware of what's called the split attention effect, and this occurs if the auditory and visual information are not related. When this happens, it increases cognitive load and adversely affects our working memory, which in turn increases resistance to learning. I can highly recommend Oliver Lovell's excellent book on cognitive load theory. Check this book out if you want to learn more about this awesome thinking tool. That's it! If you found this video useful, hit subscribe and get some more thinking tools in your learning design toolbox.